Today's episode of the Redzone Report is brought to you by PLB Sports and Entertainment, the makers of Josh's Jacks, the Diggs line of hot sauces, Diggs 14, and the Josh Allen line of coffee, JA 17. Please enjoy the show. Welcome, everybody, to the Redzone Report. I am Izzy, the host, and right here on the Built in Buffalo YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So please enjoy the show. Today is the last Red Zone report before the NFL draft. And my camera is doing some weird stuff. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can't fix that real quick. I'll turn the light down a little bit. Whatever. We'll live with it. So today is the last Red Zone report before the NFL draft, right? We'll have one after the NFL draft next week. And, that's going to be fun because the draft ends on Saturday. Sunday is generally the day after, and that's when a lot of the UDFAs start popping up on teams. So I'll have a lot to talk about then, the draft picks, UDFAs, and all that good stuff. So next week, tune in for that. But today, we're going to talk about the Bills and where they're at currently. They've made some off-season moves. They brought back A.J. Klein. They brought in Connor McGovern. They brought back Ike Botker. They really haven't done anything at tackle. Right, we still have Tommy Doyle as our swing tackle. They brought in running back Damian Harris. The Bills have made some moves to help make this draft less needy. Right, they can go out there and draft whoever is the best player available. They have very few needs, but they still have some spots where we as Bills fans believe that the team is needy. Right, so we still believe that, we need a linebacker or we need a receiver or we need a lineman of some sort. And so with all this, we are still trying to figure out where the Bills are going to go with the 27th pick. Are they going to stay put? Are they going to move up in the draft, which I doubt? Are they going to move back this draft because they need more players? Maybe the guy that they have number one is gone before they get there. And they don't have any first round grades. Maybe they don't have any early second round grades. And they say, all right, well, we're going to move back and then we'll get more players because, maybe they don't feel like they have any glaring holes. And just like some players, will have, they'll say 15 to 20 players will have a first round grade on them. And then, after you're drafting, at pick 15 or whatever, it's kind of a crapshoot after that. The later rounds, you'll see guys who you had a higher grade on end up later. And Brandon Beane said that after a question was asked of him the other day. So let's go ahead and see who we have in the comments here. Any guests for next week's show? As of right now, no. I do not have any guests for next week's show. There's always potential for a guest. Usually I don't have guests, but I'm sure someone will probably want to hop on and, we'll figure that out when it comes. But it's going to be a fun one next week because that's, right now we're having fun trying to predict what the Bills are going to do. We're having fun, trying to, get a hold of this process. And, after that, once the process is completed, now we get to break it all down. Kim's in the comments. Here we go. What's up, Kim? How you doing? Good to see you. What up, buddy? How you doing? having some fun of out here. So yeah, like the Bills have positions in this draft that need answering. According to us fans, we don't have no idea what Brandon Beane is thinking. We have no idea what Sean McDermott is thinking. Sean McDermott did say at linebacker that the players on the roster deserve a chance to get that job. That doesn't mean that Beane isn't drafting a linebacker. And it's just we've waited since after the Super Bowl, since after free agency, which for us was kind of mundane. It was very mundane free agency. Last year, Bean said he wasn't going to make any splash moves. We got Von Miller. This year, he said the same thing. No splash moves. So it's really anyone's guess as to how that's going to work out. But man, am I excited for this week. And the thing is, I work those days. And Lance is here in the comments. And they are looking to do a show for the second and third round, so Friday, and are looking to have a guest. Lance, if you want to go ahead and put that guest in the comments, I will then put it up so you guys can tune in to Lance's show. And yeah, we'll hype that up. That's going to be a good one. So I've been waiting since Nam to know who we get. Who we get? Hey man, calm down. All right, so there are really 5 positions that I would like to focus in on that the Bills are really potentially targeting, in free agency. Akeem, let's go, baby. Welcome to the show, baby. And Lance and Peter for the second round. They told me I could come on, but I'll probably, just fall back, probably jump in before the show, say hi to them and their guest, Stevie Johnson. Let's go, SJ13 in the house on Built in Buffalo for the second round of the draft. Tune in Friday for that. Stevie Johnson is going to be on. If I'm still allowed to be on, I will. But if not, I'm mad at him. You got a guest like Stevie. I would just like to say hi to him and let them do their show. But it really depends on when it starts and when I get off of work, because Fridays are always tricky for me. So we'll see. I put in for Friday off weeks ago. Hey, man, should have been. No, you're probably going to need to relieve me. Hey, man, it happens. Hey, man, if you need, an assist, I'm always here. I'll probably be in the background anyway, just like this, with no camera on, just back there watching the show. So, yeah, I'll be happy to do that. But, man, it's going to be a great show Friday. But today, we're focusing on today. We are 4 days from the draft, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then Thursday's the draft. So the positions that we're looking at, the first one is obvious. It's linebacker, right? We were already talking about it. Linebacker is the position that we're talking about. People are both hot and cold on linebacker. The linebackers really don't have first-round grades for the most part in this draft. There are 3 linebackers that I like: Drew Sanders, Jack Campbell, and Trenton Simpson. And they all are good, but they all have their flaws, right? Drew Sanders is a machine flying around, but he's got not so much experience. But he's more of the Tremaine Edmonds type, right? Then you have Jack Campbell, who's more of the traditional old school thumper type. Problem with him is that he gets caught up in blocks a lot, right? But he does make good reads. He is sound in coverage, and he's got the speed for the position. At the size, at 250 pounds, 245 pounds, 6'4", I think it is. Big guy. Jack Campbell is a guy who could come in here, but I don't know if the Bills will do that in the first round, right? They don't want to overdraft anybody. And Drew Sanders, same thing. Maybe he doesn't have a first round grade on him, but you might be drafting somebody with a second round grade at the end of the first round. That's just the way it goes. But if somebody with a first round grade is there, Beane's probably going to pull the trigger. He's never been a guy to draft off need. And I know that a lot of our mock drafts do that because we see the window that we're in, right? We think we're in the Super Bowl window. And with that thought process, you want, to put your team in the best position to do that. And that's not how GMs generally think most of the time. Not the smart ones, at least. Hey, Izzy, what's going on? Go Bills. There we go. So I don't believe linebacker will be the first pick. If they trade back into the second round, it could be. But in the first round, if they stay at 27, I doubt it. I doubt it. This was everything I've been seeing about the linebackers in this class. It is difficult to process whether they're going to do that or not, and that's cool. But linebacker is that spot. You have Trenton Simpson, who's fast. He's a physical freak of an athlete. Dayon Henley, another guy who I like, but he's more that Matt Milano, Terrell Bernard kind of guy who's, he's 6'1", 226 pounds. Could that linebacker take the spot of Tremaine Edmonds? Sure it could. You could run two of those guys out there, but then you're really undersized at the position, and you won't really have that thumper. Even though Terrell Bernard in college was kind of a thumper, and he was really good at blitzing, so that could be something that they look at if they don't want to take a linebacker. Um, but at that point, we're looking at college tape because we haven't seen much of him. So wide receiver or tight end going to be our first pick. Very possible. Very possible. Uh, I didn't put tight end on my list of players because I think that's more of a second or third round kind of thing because there's so many in this draft, like a Sam Laporta from was it Iowa? I think it is. That's a guy who I like. I've mocked him a few times. So, do you trade 27 for Tampa Bay second round and Devin White? No, I'm not a Devin White fan. He's more of a pass rusher when it comes to his skill set, even though he's playing, off the ball linebacker. His pass rush grades, his pass, his running defense grades, all of his grades pretty much suck except for pass rush. He's not good in coverage. He's not my type of linebacker. And I could be wrong. This could be exactly what Brandon Beane's looking for. Maybe he's not looking for an Edmonds replacement. If he goes after Devin White, he's not looking for a Tremaine Edmonds replacement. He's looking at a Lorenzo Alexander replacement. So that would be something different. He's not my guy, but if we do go after him, he'd be the Lorax guy, that guy who can rush the passer off the ball. It would actually give you a dynamic back. So I wouldn't be against it. Let me see where their second round pick is. Tampa's second round pick is. Where is Tampa's second round pick? I have a draft simulator open, so I'm looking for it. Tampa Bay, where are you at? Cleveland, New York, New Orleans, Cincy, Tennessee, Atlanta, New England, Tampa. So their second round pick is number 50 overall. So we took pick 50 and Devin White. We could probably still land another linebacker at 50, but they I don't know if they'd be the Tremaine Edmonds replacement that we're thinking. But that's also not. If you get Devin White, I don't know how much you prioritize that because if you remember the Bills when we had Lorenzo Alexander, he made Tremaine Edmonds so much better, right? And people would tell me that this was Tremaine Edmonds' best year. It wasn't. His first year, if I remember correctly, was his best year, and this was his best year since then. And he got paid, so good for him. Glad he got his bag. Glad he got his money if that's what he was after. Good for him. That would be interesting. That would be very interesting. So, say the DeAndre Hopkins thing doesn't pan out, right? And everybody's talking about D Hop. He's going to cost us $16 million this year. Maybe Tampa wants to, move up in the draft. We send them 27. I would send them 27. I would send them Gabriel Davis. I would take their second round pick and a third round pick. Just boom. Yeah. And Mike Evans, of course. So Mike Evans, a second round pick, a third round pick for Gabe Davis in 27. That would work for me. That would be lovely. But we'll get to the wide receivers. They are one of the positions on here. Obviously, everybody in the comments is talking about them. And yeah. What's up, DF? Mr. Ferries, how you doing? Welcome to the party. But yeah, the linebacker spot is interesting, but there's not a lot of guys that are top tier talent. And all the talent and linebacker in this draft is really second and third round grades, right? Everybody else is beyond that, right? You have was it the kid from Tulane? I keep forgetting his name. I don't see him being an option, but I'm just glad that the Bills are in position now to where they don't necessarily feel like they have to do anything. I remember AJ Klein a couple years ago. He started for us a few games when Tremaine Edmonds got hurt, and it was pretty rough the first couple of games, but once he got the roll down, he started looking good, and he actually led the team in sacks with six, I believe it was 6.5. He was tied with Mario Addison that year with sacks, 6.5, and that was at a linebacker position with the Bills, which is not typically a pass rusher, but he was blitzing. So it kind of gave me the feel that he was more playing that Alexander role than the Milano role. But that would mean that Milano probably played the Edmonds role and Taron Johnson played the Milano role. It's all freaking wishy-washy when it happens. But linebacker is one of those spots where they're going to have to find one in a pocket that they believe is going to be the right value for it. Now, moving on to the next position. The Bills have made some moves at interior offensive line. Brought back Ike Butker, right? Signed Connor McGovern. We don't really have a true backup center, unless you count Ryan Bates as that guy. But at interior offensive line, we are solid for now. We don't have to draft one early. You know, it is what it is. We did solidify the position, and most of those guys are interchangeable, right? So Connor McGovern can play left guard, center, right guard. Bates can play every position on the line if need be. You have, I think Greg Mance is still on the roster. He could potentially make the team if we don't draft somebody. You have Ike Botka, who can play left guard and center. So there's different ways that the Bills can chop this up and divvy out the assignments here. But at interior offensive line, it's not as big a need, but there's plenty of talent within the first 3 rounds for this spot where they could upgrade and potentially get Mitch Morse's replacement for the future. So I think the Bills are fine with Spector, Klein, and Dotson at middle linebacker. Potentially, yeah. Potentially. Quessenberry. Oh, yeah, we brought back Quessenberry. I forgot about that. So, yeah, we've made some moves. We have, guys there. And Quessenberry can play right guard or right tackle. He's done both, and he's serviceable there. But if somebody is there that you believe is an upgrade, you take them. If they're an upgrade and they're the best player on your board. Like if you get there to 59 and Matt Bergeron's there, could jump at Matt Bergeron, right? Or if you get there in the 3rd round to 90 and Whippler's there, you can go him. Or if Tipman's there, you can go Tipman. There are guys in this draft that could potentially be upgrades if they fall to the right spot. Brandon Beane's going to take him. He's not the need guy. That's why he filled the roster before. Now, there's a couple other spots where he has not filled, and those ones are coming up. And then everybody's favorite's last, wide receiver, right? But interior offensive lineman is going to be interesting because I think teams are not going to suspect that the Bills are going to draft one, and that could be part of what Beane did. Let's go ahead and sign some guys, right? Make it look like we're not going there, and then they go there. They take an Osiris Torrance or a Steve Avila. Very possible. And my man DF Forever says I would have no problem with a tackle in round 1. You know what? I probably wouldn't either, depending on who fell to us. If old boy from Tennessee falls to us, gimme. Whoever falls. I like the kid from Oklahoma, but I'm not in love with the kid from Oklahoma. Plus, I know a lot of Bills fans have, negative emotions because of Cody Ford. It's not the same guy. You got to let that go. But we'll see. But moving on from interior offensive linemen, because we're going to do a mock draft after this, because of course we are. It's still draft season until it's not. Offensive tackle, which we were already talking about, but here we go. The offensive tackles in this class. Let's see. My nose is itchy. Position, we'll go tackles. No. So the tackles in the first round that, are probably going to go is Peter Skoronski, which he can play guard or tackle. Paris Johnson Jr., Broderick Jones from Georgia. If he falls to us, you run the card in. If Darnell Wright falls to us, you run the card in. I like Anton Harrison. Not fully in love with the guy. Think he's good. Let me go ahead and look at his numbers here. He is 6'4", 315. First, second round grade, so you could potentially get him in the second round if you trade back. His role is a swing tackle, according to PFF with their draft enthusiasts here. But if you look at Darnell Wright, if he falls to us, good God. right tackle or guard in a gap scheme. He wins with power, 6'5", 333. If one of those guys falls to us at tackle, I'm all over it. Let me just get this over with. Darnell Wright, or a Broderick Jones, if they fall to us, run the card in and get the guy. Right? Spencer Brown, I like Spencer Brown and all, but the back injury is worrisome. It's not just worrisome because uh, it could last, right? But he played like crap last year. The back injury's there. It could be lasting. You know, it may be cold blooded to move on from him that early, but I move on from that early. If a guy like that falls into your lap, you go freaking get him. Another guy I like is Dewan Jones out of Ohio State. I would drop back in the draft for him though. Like I would trade back to like 35, that range, and go get him because he's a right tackle for sure. And he's a big boy, 6'8", 374 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal right there. I like him. I really do like Dewan Jones. He's a mid-second, early third. So Dewan Jones, if that's what you're talking about. Let me see. Was there another Jones? Broderick Jones. So I'm not sure which Jones you're talking about, DF, but I would take either one of them, just not in the first round. I would take him in the second. Paris Johnson, so he's not going to be there. If he falls to us, if Paris Johnson drops to 27, you run the card in. That's just what you do. See, Wright, Dewan Jones, Morris, and McClendon are all good RT who played RT in college, so are familiar with the position. Agreed. Agreed. And that's why Dewan Jones is probably my favorite one here. No. No, he's not. He's much bigger than Spencer Brown. He's tall. He's not. I think they're the same height, but he's bigger and he wins with power. Also, he's not as raw as Spencer Brown. Spencer Brown, physically, as an athlete, he had the best RAS score you could have, which is a 10 out of 10. But he was very raw coming out. Right, and I have here this evaluation of Dewan Jones from PFF. Jones is a big tackle as you'll ever see, 6'8", 374 pounds, 36 and 3/8 inch arms. At that size, he is one of the more refined pass protection in the class. So he's very refined in pass pro. Right, he only allowed 5 pressures in 419 pass blocking snaps. So he is not like Spencer Brown. No, sir. He is he is a much more refined guy. He's a guy who's designed to play that spot. Now, Spencer Brown, you could also then move him to guard potentially, since he is a mauler. He's a big guy who likes to road great. And what do you do with a big guy like that? You put him on defensive tackles. You allow him to go out there and move people around. He does not have the hips to me. If last year showed an indication of what he's going to be in the future, he's not a guy who has the hips to me to be able to get somebody coming around the edge. So you move him inside and let him go straight, left and right. On occasion have to shimmy to block stunts. But I wouldn't keep him on the outside, especially if you can get a Dewan Jones. That also that adds Spencer Brown as another option to play guard potentially. And I know they say that moving inside from outside is more difficult than moving outside from inside, but it is what it is. It gives us another option potentially at inside. So offensive tackle is very interesting. I also like Matt Bergeron. Say these guys are all gone when we start picking, or the Bills don't see the value in these guys. Matt Bergeron from Syracuse, outstanding player. I'm a Syracuse fan, so I'm a little bit partial, but that guy is legit. They have him as a swing tackle, which means he can play both sides. But they have him a second or third round grade. At pick 59, you're basically beginning of the third, end of the second, so that would be his range. Uh, Bergeron has deadening hands and pass protection that should translate to the next level. He earned pass blocking grades of 80.8 and 85.4 in the past 2 seasons. So the kid can block. The kid can block. To the third day, I don't know about that. I don't know because we only have 3 tackles. We got Spencer Brown, Deion Dawkins, and Tommy Doyle. We don't really have another tackle that's you know, 53-man roster worthy. See, I like Tyler Steen a lot, the tackle from Alabama. I'll look and see if he's on the list. Let's see, Tyler Steen. Where is it? There he is. PFF has him ranked 107. Grades are decent. First look, they don't have a lot of information on him. Steen has 4 years of starting experience, but figures to be a guard convert at the next level. He's one of the more powerful linemen, so they're looking at him as a guard um, potentially. I don't know because I haven't seen much tape on him, but you never know. You never know. There's lots of guys in the first 3 rounds that could be potentially there for us. It really also depends on where other teams grade these guys. Maybe somebody has, a freaking DeJuan Jones over Broderick Jones or Paris Johnson Jr. Some teams do crazy stuff like that, like the Patriots when they drafted what's his name, Cole Strange. Teams had him in the 4th round. They took him in the first over guys who people had first-round grades on. He played fairly well. He played fairly well. But the next position we're going to talk about, defensive tackle. Okay. Now, defensive tackle is slept on right now because the Bills have, 4 or 5 on the roster? The Bills have, of course, Ed Oliver, last year of his deal. DaQuan Jones, last year of his deal. Tim Settle, last year of his deal. And big man Phil, he only signed a 1-year deal. Right? Phillips signed a 1-year deal. After that, it's all practice squad guys. Camp bodies, practice squad guys. Maybe someone proves themselves and earns a spot on the roster, but it's hard. Still have to hope for Spencer Brown, but he does need company. He does need competition, and that's why I'd say like the 3rd round is probably the sweet spot for a tackle. I don't know about day 3. Second, 3rd round is the sweet spot where I think it would be, but we'll see. If we get DT, it's 1 tech round 4. Uh, I don't know about that. We have 0 defensive tackles under contract beyond this year. All of our defensive tackles, the 4 guys who are almost guaranteed to make the 53-man roster, the Ed Oliver, Jordan Phillips, um, DaQuan Jones, and Tim Settle, all their contracts are up. We have nobody under contract after this year. Everybody is gone, right? The Bills may double up this draft and take 2 guys. Now, it may be day 3, round 4 and round 6, they take one, maybe. It's possible. I can see the Bills, again, trading back from the 1st round to get more picks later on so that way they can address more of these needs and also fill out the roster because filling out the roster with veterans is expensive. But if you fill out the roster with rookies who have potential, you're doing something different there. So you often injured Phillips and below average Settle day 2 or DT day 2. Yeah, very, very likely day 2. Izzy, you willing to entertain a trade this mock? I'm absolutely. I'll actually do 2 mocks. I don't care. I'll do freaking 3. Doesn't matter to me. Keanu Benton, Jacqueline Roy are studs at DT. They indeed are. They indeed are. I've looked at them, and those 2 guys, those 2 names are stuck in my head. I don't remember everything about them off the top of my head, but I remember looking at their spots, and yeah, very interested in those guys. But DT, we probably need to double up this year, right? Because we can probably get Jordan Phillips again next year on a cheap, 1-year deal if so need be. Also, undrafted free agents are out there. Some people are going to get cut because their defensive tackle was drafted to their team. There's going to be a second wave of free agency or a third. I don't know. They call it the third wave of free agency after the draft because you have your first wave, then it cools down. Second wave, then the draft, then your third wave of free agency. So after that, we'll see. See Oliver for D Hop and our 5th, and get a 1 tech. I don't know if they're going for that deal. This is Izzy's 3 a.m. show. We can do multiple mocks. Hey man, calm down. I'm not off tomorrow. Usually when I go through and I do the 1.5 to 2 hour shows, usually those days I'm off the next day. I'm not off tomorrow. I might do 2 mocks and that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it. So DF, the Cardinals don't want Oliver. So Oliver is undersized. He is. Let's be honest. But he plays very well for an undersized defensive tackle. Be honest there too, right? And a lot of the defensive tackles in this draft are, undersized as well. Like the kid from Pittsburgh, that dude's undersized. He's really undersized. Kalijah Cansey, very undersized. He's smaller than Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver's 287 pounds and 6'2" and has just under 33-inch arms. Kalijah Cansey's arms are like 31 inches. He's shorter. He's got shorter wingspan, and he's 281 pounds. So I don't see that coming out. He's also graded as a top 2 defensive tackle in his draft class, just like Ed Oliver. The the freaking what am I looking for here? The word I'm looking for. The proportions are like the same. Like they're almost the same exact player. Like there's some measurements that are just a little smaller on Kalijah Cansey. The body of work at that school, Pitt is an ACC school, so that school has better competition than what Ed Oliver played at Houston, but they're still rated pretty similarly. The report came out that the Cardinals still want a second round pick for Hopkins and aren't budging. Well, that's their problem. They actually are looking for a 2-tech DT, aka Oliver. You mean a 3-tech? It has been talked about on boards many times. Well, I mean, boards aren't the team. The team is the team. So we fans are talking about the Bills, and we know the Bills, but we don't know what the Bills are thinking. You gotta kind of take that with a grain of salt. What the message boards are saying. We're saying linebacker round 1 for like most of this thing until this week, and now we're kind of cooling down on this. So I will just quote. I believe it's Socrates who said this that. The only thing I know is that I really don't know much of anything, or I don't know anything at all, right? So when it comes to the Bills and their draft scenarios and their ideals, the only thing I know is I don't know anything. Period. But and that goes for Cardinals message boards and Patriots and Raiders. None of their fans really know what they're doing. And if the fans do know what you're doing, then you're messing up. You're not doing it right. But it is what it is. I'm with you there too. I would never go inside linebacker round 1 unless it's like a Roquan Smith kind of guy. It's got to be that elite guy, and that's just the way it is. That's how I see it. But a lot of the guys coming out of the second round, if you look at was it Shaq Leonard? I think he changed his name to over in Indianapolis, and then you have freaking Leonard come for Indianapolis, second round pick. I believe Fred Warner was a second round pick, as was Bobby Wagner. I think was a second round pick. A lot of second round pick linebackers turn out to be studs. A lot of them just turn out to be studs. But defensive tackle is a spot where we're going to have to invest. And I'll go over some prospects here. Jalen Carter is not going to be there for us. Kalijah Cansey might be there for us because he's undersized, and teams may not be willing to overlook that. But he could go in the top 15 as well. Mozzie Smith, big boy out of Michigan, second round grade. He could go as early as the first round, but he's got a second round grade on him. 6'3", 323. Like he's a big guy, rated as a nose tackle or a 1-tech in our scheme. Big, just that prospect right there would really interest me if we went there in the first round. But I see us going in the second round. Brian Bresee from Clemson, another big guy. He's not over 300 pounds, so he's not that big. He'd be more of a 3-tech. He's got good explosiveness. He's versatile, and McDermott and Beane like versatile players, guys who can play multiple spots. But I think that they really need to stop playing around with that in certain spots like defensive tackle and get guys who can really just bite down. Keanu Benton at 59 would make me so very happy. 6'4", 309 pounds. He's a big dude. He's also versatile, got good hands. He moves well. Stud. Kobe Turner from Wake Forest, another guy who I do like. I actually like Kobe Turner quite a bit. Fourth round guy. He would not upset me one bit. Kobe Turner, he's 6'3", 290. He would be an Ed Oliver replacement, but he's taller and longer than Ed Oliver, so his weight is more dispersed over a bigger area. So he's going to be more of a athlete, physical freak. See, Benton or Ika. Okay, I have to look at Ika. Where's Ika? I'm looking at this board here. Siaka Ika from Baylor. So Ika is a 1-tech for sure. 6'3", 335. See, Ika makes every center bring their lunch pail. Okay, that's what we want. We want bullies on our line. If he wins the leverage battle, it can get ugly. There we go. He commonly walks centers multiple yards into the backfield, and bringing in Ika would actually potentially help out uh, Bernard, Terrell Bernard, because they played together, they know each other. Never know. If Flowers drops to 27, would you take an amazing slot wide receiver like Flowers? Uh, I'm actually kind of cold on Flowers. I like his route running. I like his movement, but he drops too many passes for me. He drops way too many passes for me. And the issue with that is we have three slot receivers. We have Khalil Shakir, we have Deontay Hardy, and we have Dewey just got from the Dolphins. Uh, Forgetting his name. Trent Sherfield. So with that being said, I would look to go more outside receiver, maybe in the fourth round, like an A.T. Perry. Also, if you guys watch my show, the guys who are here every week with me, love you guys. Thank you. Uh, I really like the kid out of Princeton in the sixth round, fifth or sixth round. Andre Yusovas. I like him a lot. Problem with him is he's a bit of a body catcher, but he's a fifth or sixth round guy. He's a guy you would bring in. To me, he reminds me of Quentin Johnston, just not as big and faster. Both body catchers. That's why I wouldn't draft Quentin Johnston. He's too much of a body catcher for me. I mean, we have our return man in number 0 now, freaking Hines. So I don't know if Sherfield would take away from him. Also, Sherfield beat Cedric Wilson out last year for the Dolphins for the slot receiver role. It took him a while, but he beat him out, and he maintained that role for the rest of the year. So Sherfield, you never know. Also, he was playing with Tua and Skylar Thompson and Teddy Bridgewater. Like, he wasn't playing with consistent quarterback. He's going to have Josh Allen now. That kid could take a step. Deontay Hardy, same thing. His last good season, he played with Jameis Winston. With Josh Allen, he could take a step. Josh Allen makes his receivers better. You just never know. But for me, drafting a slot receiver is not it. Also, Khalil Shakir. I love Shakir. So you cannot expect a fourth wide receiver to help now. We need a wide receiver that helps now. I would run lots of bunch formations. We could still do that with who we have right now with Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, Sherfield, Shakir. We could run bunch formation. We have the receivers to do that. And we have speed. There we go. There's a guy. We're moving on from defensive tackle now. Wide receiver. So, my wide receivers, there's two of them. They go to the same school. If I'm going rounds 2 or 3, Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman. Now, you have Quentin Johnston on here. I'm not a fan of his. He's a body catcher. He doesn't high point the ball. Jordan Addison, I do like. Flowers, meh. I like Flowers over Johnston. Johnston doesn't create that much separation. He's also not that agile. Jalen Hyatt, agile as can be. I like Jalen Hyatt. 27 is a little too rich for my blood for him, though. I take him in the second round. Jordan Addison, I would take in the first round, though. If Jordan Addison falls to 27, I would not be upset one bit if they run that card in. I like that. Insane contested ball catcher, yes, but he does have too many drops. I'm concerned about the drops. Like Gabe Davis makes contested catches all the time, but he only catches 51% of the passes thrown to him this past year. That's a problem. I wouldn't want to look to replace my dropsy guy with another dropsy guy. Do not like Addison. His contested balls and his route running is horrible. I don't know about that, man. I have to check some film out on that. But I like Addison. Let me see what the scouting on Jordan Addison on the wide receiver says. Because now we're in wide receiver mode, and we're gonna go ahead and look at this. The Bills probably do need to bring in a wide receiver. Let's all be honest there, right? If we're all honest, wide receiver is a spot that we need to be looking at, right? And the number one guy on most people's boards is probably going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's probably not going to happen. He's probably not going to fall to us. But if he did, you run in the Dan card, right? He is outstanding, and I really like Jackson Smith and Jigba. 6', 196. He's a slot guy, though, according to PFF. But I think that he can play inside and out. Freaking caught 95 passes for 1,595 yards and 9 touchdowns. He's a beast. I like JSN. I doubt he's going to be there for us. Jordan Addison. Looking at his breakdown here, Addison was the Blitnikoff Award winner for the Pittsburgh in 2021 before transferring to USC. He's a crafty route runner, so they're disagreeing with you there. With the kind of bend to run a full route tree. He caught 159 passes for 2,468 yards and 25 scores over the past 2 seasons. And he wins with route running, apparently, is what they're saying. Addison excels at creating separation to the point where his lack of size is an afterthought. He'll be able to run the full route tree from day one in the NFL. So, my man Doug, they disagree with you on him. They disagree with you on him. See, I would like us to go after D Hop. I wouldn't be mad at D Hop. If you go get D Hop, you get a couple of picks, back from them. You give him 27, or you give him the second round pick. You take D Hop, and then you try and switch thirds or something like that, or you give them the first and take their second and D Hop, and then you give them the third or whatever. Fine. That means that D Hop was our first round pick, and we just moved up in a couple of rounds. I'd be fine with that. But the price has got to be right for D Hop. He's 31 years old. We don't want to get somebody who's falling off the ledge, but his route running is so good. His route running is so good. See, Parker Washington in the third, I love. So I like him. I do like Parker Washington, but I also like Cedric Tillman. Cedric Tillman is one of my favorite wide receiver prospects. Let me see. What can he improve? So for Jordan Addison, because my man Doug in the comments here said, look at his negatives, my friend. They're not getting a second for D Hop. No way. I don't think so either. Maybe you give him 91, but yeah, you give him 91 and Ed. You take their second or something like that, or take their fourth. I don't know. Let's see. Addison. So you were asking me for his negatives, Mr. Fairies, Mr. Forever, and here it goes. What can he improve? His play strength. Addison is a completely different receiver when given a free release compared to when corners lay their hands on him. So his problem is coming off of press coverage. Press man coverage is an issue for him. So going up against the Jets could be an issue because Sauce Gardner is just that dude. He's just that dude. So going against that kind of guy, yeah, it'd be difficult. But then you have Diggs on the other side, and now you got Diggs going against their second corner in Reed, who's also outstanding, but Diggs can beat him. Diggs can beat him. Yep, yeah. The Cardinals are in a real sticky situation with D Hop, and however they decide to resolve it, if they're going to eat some of that contract, you're going to have to give them a second round pick. Like if you're taking a player off their hands, they're going to have to do that. Right? And let's say that they decide to keep him. They decide to keep him, fine. But they've been shopping him around. How happy do you think he's going to be there? He's probably not going to be very happy. He's probably going to be pretty upset that they even thought about trading him, and that's potentially just going to give him the idea to want to move on and demand a trade. But I don't really see him being that kind of guy. But wide receivers, moving on from Jordan Addison, they have Quentin Johnson up here. Again, I don't really like the fact that he's a body catcher. I watched Steve Smith's evaluation on him, and Steve Smith is a wide receiver scout that I stupidly trust. Like, not stupidly as in it's a bad idea, but just if anybody's going to know wide receivers, it's Steve Smith Sr. That guy just knows it. Zay Flowers, they have a second round grade on him, I think it is. Oh, no, first round grade. He's just ranked 33, so I don't know how that works. Uh, he wins with quickness, so he's very fast. He's a movable weapon. He can go inside, outside. He can do all that stuff, and he sets up routes poorly. That's his problem. Is he needs to set up routes better. Also, the dropsies. Not a fan of the dropsies. We have enough of that on his team already. We need guys who can catch. Second round wide receiver that I do like is Mr. Josh Downs out of North Carolina. I do like Josh Downs. He's 5'9", 171, so he's a bit undersized. He's a slot guy. So I'm not sure that I'd really want to go after him. He's got good footwork, but if you're a slot receiver, you kind of have to. Nathaniel Dell, same type of deal with him, 5'8", 165. Jalen Hyatt, 6', 176. Cedric Tillman, though, this guy right here. We're talking 6'3", 213 pounds, baby. Let's go. Where he wins, catch radius. There we go. That's what we need. Vertical tree X receiver. There we go. And where he can improve press coverage. So he does need to work on getting off a press. But we're talking about a big body guy here. Big body guy who can learn. They have him as a fourth round talent. I wouldn't be mad if we took him in the third round because our third round pick is basically a fourth round pick at 91. I like him quite a bit. Diggs can teach him to set up routes. Yeah, he can, but he still has to put in the work, and it still has to work out. Thoughts on A.T. Perry? I do like A.T. Perry. I don't know a whole lot about Rashee Rice, but I can look up Rashee Rice. A.T. Perry, I do like. Rashee Rice here, 6'1", 204. Let's take a look at his statistics and stuff. Receiving grade from PFF is 85.6. First look, 6'1", 204. He wins with ball skills. His role would be a possession receiver. That's not bad, but we do have a bunch of those already, kinda. What can he improve his release package? So getting off the line is something he's gonna have to work on. Third round grade on him. Not bad. I like Cedric Tillman better personally. Marvin Mims, interesting guy, 5'11", 183. Feels more of the Diggs type of receiver, but he's gonna have to prove it. Lord, my nose just itches. A.T. Perry, 6'3", 198. Let's see what they don't have a lot of stuff on him. Perry is a long-limbed deep threat who gives quarterbacks a large margin for error. So he's a wingspan guy. Ran a 4.47, so not bad. So yeah, I don't care about scouting reports. They said something about Justin Jefferson coming out the draft and why guys like Ruggs, Judy, Lamb, and Rieger got drafted before him. Just watch the tape on Addison. I will be watching the tape on Addison. I've seen some already, but I haven't watched specific tape. So Diggs can teach him set up routes. Bills Mafia prods. I agree to an extent. PFF scout reports are not the ends of all means. Yeah, no, they're not. They're not. Charlie Jones from Purdue. So I do like Charlie Jones from Purdue. I've seen his tape, and I've seen some of his reports. I do like him a little later in the draft. Really like his tape. And Purdue's a team that really doesn't have much going for them. They kind of suck every year. But we're still talking about a team that's in the Big Ten. They play good teams, and he still produced on a bad team. I do like him quite a bit. See, Izzy, the one thing I will say, PFF does a lot of copy paste on their scout reports. Wrong a lot, right a lot. I mean, that's any scout. I mean, look at Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper thought Trent Dilfer was going to be the guy. The Colts drafted this guy, but all they have is Jim Harbaugh on the roster. Like, even the most intelligent draft guys who do all the scouting get stuff wrong sometimes. Mahomes went 10th overall. It means 9 teams, 10 teams, because we traded the pick away to the Chiefs. 10 teams screwed the pooch on that. Trubisky went before him, right? Like Josh Allen, same thing, right? 2 quarterbacks went before him. Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold went before Josh Allen. Those teams screwed the pooch, including the Buccaneers, who had Jameis Winston on their roster, I think. I think he was still on the roster. They traded away the quarterback that would have been a beast for them in Josh Allen, that 7th pick, for 2 second-round picks and to move back. It happens. See, a lot of wide receiver available day 2, all kinds of flavors to choose from. It's true. It's true. I like Addison because of his route running, but I don't like that he has a hard time with press, and in the NFL that could definitely mess with your route running. So there's a lot that goes on there. So you can't wait for the draft. Me either, brother. Me either. That's not fair. Mel wrong 75%, but when he is right, he will let you know. Yeah, exactly. A lot of these guys are wrong all the time. Daniel Jeremiah. Look at Maurice Jones-Drew's mock draft. Holy crap, that was a freaking mess. It was a mess. Go to NFL.com and look up MJD's mock. It was a freaking mess. Hey, Kuiper was right about Josh Allen and had him number 1. He did. But, again, that goes back to it. Like, when you look at the draft, right, and you do a mock draft, and you're trying to guess who's going to take who, once you got one guy wrong, you automatically have 2 wrong. So like say they're doing a mock draft right now, right? And they have the first overall pick being Bryce Young. They mocked Bryce Young to the Panthers, and they have C.J. Stroud going to the Texans. Now, say C.J. Stroud goes first overall. Well, you got pick one wrong now, and pick two. See, so once you get one thing wrong, two things are wrong, at least, at minimum. So let's say C.J. Stroud goes one, and then the Texans do, as everybody is saying, don't take a quarterback. They take Will Anderson Jr. Now you have three gone, three wrong, or four, because now wherever you had Will Anderson going before, he's not there anymore. You got Stroud wrong, you got Young wrong, and you also got Will Anderson Jr. wrong. So that's four guys now that you've missed out. It's just once you miss one, the spiral happens. It is what it is. How dare you give him credit? I know, man. I know. I'm trying to give you some credit here too. The same killer that said Edwards was a NFL ready QB. Hey, man, he wasn't an NFL ready QB. Trent Edwards was outstanding until he had his concussions. He had us at 5-2. Then wham, concussion, out. It happens, man. People's careers get derailed all the time from head injuries. But Trent Edwards was outstanding until that point. He didn't have a cannon of an arm like J.P. Lossman did, but he could read the field. And then, after the concussions, it just wasn't the same after that. And unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. So Josh Allen was the last Bills pick I got right. Missed every time since. Hey, man, that year before they traded to 12 with the Bengals to potentially get in position to get Josh Allen, I had him going the offensive line with the first round picks at 20 and 21. And thank God we didn't get those guys because it was Will Hernandez and the kid from Michigan, I think it was. And neither one of them are starting in the NFL, I don't think, right now. Actually, I have no idea where Will Hernandez is right now. So, yeah. And I wanted us to go Mason Rudolph in round 3 after taking Washington in round 2 as receiver. So, what do I do? So, do you see Vegas change their odds and now Will Levis is minus 140, favorite to be the 2 pick? I see that, but I also know bets change as people bet. So, as people start betting, the odds are going to change, for the betting line versus the actual odds of it actually happening. So, we'll see. But let's go ahead and start this mock draft. Give me 1 second. All right. Son's asking about baked potatoes. Let's go. Make sure you close that door, Papa. Make sure you close the door when you go downstairs. All right. So we're going to go ahead and load up this mock draft machine. Boom. Let's do this mock draft. Share screen. So I actually did mock draft right before the show. And here's how my mock before the show went. Just so you guys have an idea. I did this one on mock draft database. And I traded back twice. So I traded back to 30, and then I traded again back to 36. And I stockpiled draft picks. I traded a bunch of times to stockpile picks, as you can see up here. Traded 27 to get to 30 and 62, then traded 30 to get 36, 77, and a bunch of late round picks. Traded again from, I got the 59th overall pick, and I gave them the 59th, and I got the 61st and 218th, and I traded again. I received just 2 picks here, and gave up a 6th for a 5th and a 6th the next year, just because it was too many damn picks, right? But I got Drew Sanders in the first round, who I really like. No, just regular baked potatoes, man. We're gonna do fully loaded potatoes. I think we're going linebacker in the first round. I'm not so sure. Take Jalen Hyatt. So we'll get there. I'm just going to show you guys this one I did right before the show. I got Drew Sanders at 36, Joe Tipman at 61, Matt Bergeron at 62, Sam Laporta at 77, Jervon Dexter, defensive tackle out of Florida, at 91, Nick Herbig, linebacker from Wisconsin, at 130, Trey Parker, wide receiver, Nebraska, at 137, Kobe Turner, defensive lineman, Wake Forest, at 167. Safety Daniel Scott from California, 205. Edge rusher Nick Hampton at 218 from Appalachian State, and Chris Rodriguez, running back from Kentucky, at 223. So that was my previous mock, and we're past it. And hang on one sec. Okay, good. Now we're going to move on to the actual mock draft that we are going to do. Share. So now we're going to do 7 rounds, as the Bills, of course, and we enter the draft. So let's see what you guys are saying here. Take Jalen Hyatt at pick 27, and they will give you an A grade. He never makes it past pick 35. Well, I mean, if we trade back to pick 33, we should be fine. We'll see how it goes. Start draft. That was awfully fast. Let me make this just a little bit bigger. Boop. All right, so on the board, tight end Michael Mayer, tackle Anton Harrison, cornerback Emmanuel Forbes, Will McDonald, guard Osiris Torrance is still here, tackle DeJuan Jones is still here. I'm feeling a trade back. John Michael Schmitz still here, Mozzie Smith still here. A lot of talent, a lot of potential here to trade back and go get somebody. So we don't need more than 6 or 7 picks. If they get too many picks, then half won't make the roster. I don't think that's true. I think that there's a lot of veterans on this team whose spots are not secure. There are plenty of people on this roster whose jobs are not secure. I'd love me some Michael Mayer. I like him, but there's guys in the second round that I like at tight end too. When it says trade back, let's see, go Bills. That's right. Let's see, 13 back. Let's see what's available for trade backs. Who wants to trade back with us? The Chiefs want to trade up. They want to go from 31 to 27. Let's see what they're willing to give. See, 31, 63. We'll drop them 91, and that drops us back 4 picks, and then sends us from 91 to 63. I don't mind that. Get an extra third. Okay, let me see what other options are available. That's if we do that right there. That gets us an extra second. We lose the first and the third, and we get a third and a second. Let's see. We go to Houston. We give it 27. They give us 33 and 65. And we give it 130. Nope. See if we can't do 33 and there, and then we give it 130. So we could get. We're not getting any extra picks with that. Okay, so let's see about who's next. 38, the Raiders. So say we want 38 and 70 and 100. So we move back to 38. We give up 91. We get back 70 and 100. That one doesn't bother me. Houston will give you 33 and 104. I don't know if I want 104. I'm trying to get as many picks in the top 100 picks that we can get. You know what I'm saying? Try KC 31 and 27 and our last pick. I don't want their last pick. I want something really of value. Like, let me go back up again. Let's see. So if we go back to Houston, 33 and 104 for 27, they will absolutely do it. But if I want 73 and 104 and they give them 91, they'll do that as well. So I can move from 91 to 73 and still get 104. What do you think about that? Right here. So you suggested 33 and 104 for pick 27, right? But if I add to that 91, we can get 73 as well. So we move back from 27 to 33, but we move up from 91 to 73 and then also get 104. That sounds like a good deal to me. No, I get it. I'm just adding to that deal. So instead of just getting 104, we also move up in the third round. KC deal was better. Let me see. We'll look at that one real quick, and then if not, then we'll come back to Houston. So 31, still a first round pick, and 63 and 122 versus Houston. Huh. Yeah, I don't know if I'd say it was better. Because then I'm not gaining any extra picks. With the Houston one, I'm gaining picks. I'm getting 33, 73, 104. Heck, I might be able to get 161 out of them and give them 205. Boom. There you go. See, KC deal, you get an extra second. So KC deal, an extra second. What are you talking about? If I go to KC, I go 31 and 63. I get the extra second. Yeah, but then I don't get anything else after that. I'm only getting 2 picks. I can move up in the third. Let me see. Let me see if I'm understanding. The value I think is what you're getting at. Right? You're looking at the value. 33, 65, 104. Give him 130. I like that too. Casey's pick is 64, 63. Okay, so this right here doesn't bother me at all. Okay, so I can get 31, 63, 122, and 166. Get one extra pick. I'd move up from the third to the second round. I'd move up from 130 to 122, and then get 166 on the back end. How's that? See, Houston trade is the best we're going to get. Houston deal is way better. I I actually think the Houston deal is better too because we can get more picks, and then you're also keeping more picks within that range. So if I go Houston, 33, 65, 104. Yeah, I'm getting more value here. The second round pick from KC is only 2 picks ahead of this one. The second round, this pick is only 2 picks behind KC. Also, I don't want to trade with KC, but also I'm getting 104 instead of 122, moving up 26 spots from 130. So yeah, I would say the Texans one is the better deal. Okay, go on Texans deal. Offer trade. Boom, accepted. Let's go. Resume draft. Okay, so they took Will McDonald from Iowa State. Then Anton Harrison came off the board. Osiris Torrance, Michael Mayer, Emmanuel Forbes, DeJuan Jones. Now we're here, and we have Felix Anudike Uzoma on the board, edge rusher. Jameer Gibbs, John Michael Schmitz, who I do like. Mizzy Smith, who I do like. Darnell Washington, who I do like. Josh Downs, Jack Campbell's here. Brian Brissy, Steve Avila, interior offensive lineman. Sam Laporta, but those are kind of reaches. I'd look at John Michael Schmitz, center, or Mozzie Smith, defensive tackle. That's who I'm looking at. Hyatt. My man's saying Jalen Hyatt. Let me see where's he ranked? Is he even on the board still? Let's see. I do like me some Jalen Hyatt. Jalen Hyatt is here. He's at 55. Campbell. Did you spell Campbell wrong? Yeah, you spelled Campbell wrong. Campbell. Come on, come on, DF. All right, so we got Hyatt, we got Jack Campbell. Remember, we also have picks 59 and 65. We could try and trade up from 59. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Hyatt at 55. I don't know. That feels like a reach. Feels like a reach. Let's see. Especially with the interior offensive lineman on the board and the defensive tackle on the board. I'm feeling the defensive tackle. Campbell. Okay, so Campbell. All right. So I'm getting 2 for Campbell. I got 1 for Hyatt. Let's go ahead and take Campbell. 39. Boom. Let's see who came off the board. Drew Sanders came off the board. Mozzie Smith, Kylie, Drew Sanders, Keon, Trenton Simpson, BJ Ojulari. We're at 46 with the Patriots. Let's see. I'm going to try and trade up with the Steelers or the Buccaneers. So let's say Tampa. Where you at, Tampa? 50's up here. Boom. Tampa Buccaneers. We give them 59 for 50, and we'll slide them like 104. Let's see if I can't get away with giving them less. Nope. $104. All right. See if I can't get something back. All right. So I'm looking to move back up from 59 to try and get. I already took Campbell. Campbell's already the guy we took. So we're now moving into the second round. Further into the second round. And right now I have a trade on the board to move up from 59 to 50 to try and go get Jalen Hyatt. Let's go ahead and let it sim a little bit. We're at pick 45 right now. No! Jalen Hyatt went. Okay. Now we're on the board here. Couldn't stop it fast enough. Sorry, guys. We're at 59. We have Nathaniel Tank Dell on the board. Zach Charbonnet, who was a 30 visit for the Bills. Luke Whippler. Cedric Tillman is my guy. What are you guys thinking? We got Jack Campbell. Cedric Tillman's here. Luke Whippler's here. I like him. Zach Charbonnet running back, but I don't know if we're going running back. I'm pretty sure we're not. Nathaniel Tank Dell, good slot receiver. Says movable weapon, so I'm guessing he can play outside too. Dell size 5'10", 165 pounds, won't be for everyone, but he's an easy separator with another gear to stride away from defenders. He had a monster 2022 campaign for Houston with 108 catches, 1399 yards, and 17 touchdowns. Dell moves across the field like he's being controlled by a joystick, so he's getting that comparison. Route running efficiency is a question for him, but he would be more of a deep threat for the Bills. What are you guys thinking here? Slow down speed at the top of the page. Yeah, where's that? Oh, there he goes. Son of a. Okay. I didn't know I could do that. My bad. See, we need a speed wide receiver, but I like Tillman. So right now, I'm looking at Tank Dell, and Tillman. What do you think? Do you think I should go with dude? You getting a Dell, or should I go with Tillman? No on Dell, too small. Okay, I don't disagree. And we also have Deontay Hardy already, and they both kind of mirror each other's skill sets. So I would hate to draft the same guy we already have. You know what I'm saying? I do like Dell if we didn't have Hardy already, but Cedric Tillman is on here. Let's see. I agree. Okay, I appreciate that. What about D Hop trade? We need a star now. I don't know if we need a star now. We need somebody who's actually going to be able to contribute right now. Is Benton there? Give me position and first name. Or what am I doing? I can just control F this thing. Benton. No, Benton was taken already. I forgot he was a DT. Yeah, he was taken at 53. I was trying to get up to 50. We wouldn't have gotten freaking Josh Downs or Jalen Hyatt, but we would have gotten Benton if we wanted him. Freaking my stupid ass didn't realize we could do that. D line. Yeah, Benton's not there. So it's looking like Tillman. All right. Cedric Tillman it is. Boop. Our next pick's at 65. So it's nice having 4 picks in the top almost 100. Tank Dell still there. Luke Whippler still there. Nick Herbig, who I like, also in the Lorenzo Alexander role. I talked about that last week. I'm not going to beat that dead horse anymore. Isaiah Foskey's on the board. Tucker Kraft is on the board at tight end. Marvin Mims, wide receiver. Sidney Brown at safety. I really like him. Corey Trice, Chandler Zavala. A lot of these guys were starting to fall back into the 70, rankings. We could potentially trade back if you guys think. What are you guys thinking? Because we have guys for trades. Teams interested are at 67, the Denver Broncos. 83, that's too far back. The Broncos will probably be the only team I even consider. And that's 2 picks. Let's see what they give. So we give them we get 67 and they get 65. We get 108. Mm. Hmm. So we move back 2 and then move up like 30. I'm gonna go ahead and take that trade. That's a simple one. Too easy. And nothing we wanted came off the board. Cool. Yuck, I don't like any of those guys. Hey, man, that's how the draft goes sometimes, man. Ika and Daquan Jones would be hard to run on. Yeah, but they wouldn't be hard to pass on. You know what I mean? Like, those are both mauling guys. But if you're talking about in a rotational basis, like you have Ed Oliver and Tim Settle, and then you have Ika and Daquan rotating at their respective positions, if that's what you mean, then I agree. Let me see if Ika is still on the board. Ika. Not IA. Oh, Siaka Ika is still on the board, but he's ranked like 80 something, 88. We're at 65. We also have, or we're at 67. So if we pass on him now, we're definitely not going to get him. But if we trade back to 71 or 74, we go 74 and 98, 67, and 108. Move up 10, move back some. Derek Hall there. Let me look. Hall. That. Oh. Derek Hall is there. He's in a very similar spot, though. He's like right ahead of Ika. So if it's me, I'd prefer to trade back. I'd prefer to trade back to like 74 and get one of those two, either Ika or the defense or the pass rusher in Derek Hall. What do you guys think? I do like Ika, but there's other big guys we can get later, like Coburn later in the draft. Big guy. Sherfield will be an X factor for us. He reminds me of Debo Samuel a little bit. That's a bit of a stretch. He's not Debo's size, man. Debo's big. Debo's big. Come on, guys, need some help here. If I go to trades, boom, look at that, 74, just ahead of the Patriots. 74, get 98, give them 67 and 108. Plus they give us 126 because I said so. So we can get another pick back. What are you guys thinking? Trade back to Ika. Okay. Ika would be great for us. Okay. So we're trading back to 74 with Cleveland. We're moving up from 108 to 98. And then getting 126 on the back end. Please be there, Ika. Oh, I guess not. Okay. 140 on the back end? There we go. Okay, did Ika get taken? Ika is still there. Okay, so now we go after our big fat bastard. Is he still there? Yep, there he is. So we take Ika. Now we have 98 and 104, so we will have officially had 4 picks within the top 100 and then 104. So to me, that is stealing. We got him, baby. We got Ika. Outstanding. Let's go. Now we are on the board at 98. We have selected. I'm trying to remember who we picked. We got Jack Campbell in the second. We got Jack Campbell. Cedric Tillman. And Siaka Ika. We are now on our 4th pick, so we got a defensive lineman, we got a linebacker, and a wide receiver. So of all the positions that we were talking about before, we've addressed 3 of those. Let me go ahead and get that banner off there. It looks weird. So we've addressed 3 of the positions that we talked about: linebacker, D-line, and wide receiver. Are we looking at guards now? We're looking at guards and, there we go. There we go. O-line. Let's look at some big fat bastards to block for Josh. So Kobe Turner's here still. And I like Kobe Turner defensive line. 6'3", 290, he would be an Ed Oliver replacement, right? Because the Bills are probably not going to pay Ed Oliver. Dominated at Wake Forest. And if I look him up on NFL, Lance Zierlein does an excellent job of rating players. Did he even? Okay, guess not. Let's see. NFL Draft Buzz. Did he not attend the combine? Nah. Okay, screw that then. Kobe Turner, I like him. Graded well. What you guys think? O.T. Duncan still there? Let's take a look. Blake Freeland, Wanye Morris, Braden Daniels. I don't think he's there, man. Jordan McFadden, Jake Witt, Ryan Haynes. We're looking at tackle late in this one, if at all. But if you look at guards, C.D. Sow, Andrew Voorhees will be there at 126. Is ranked 126, and we have 104. Honestly, I'm not liking many of these offensive linemen here. I do like Oluwasegun Oluwatimi in the next round or so. at 120, at 104 or 140. I like him. Oluwatimi is interesting to me. See, Boogie Basham dominated at Wake Forest too. Yeah, but Boogie Basham wasn't a defensive tackle, and Boogie Basham was, kind of a different player than him. Boogie was a power freak at the outside. We're talking about a guy on the inside. We're not talking about the same thing. So Juice from Penn State is good. Let me see Juice. Penn State. Blake Freeland. Juice Scruggs. Let's take a look at him. Oh. All right. His numbers are nice. Scruggs is a versatile zone scheme. That makes sense because we do run a lot of zone scheme with our offensive line with easy areas for improvement. Okay. So I like Juice Scruggs with that description there, but I would go for him a little later. I wouldn't go for him in the top 100. If Voorhees is out for the season already, I like Braden Daniels a lot from Utah. Okay. We could use some juice at center. Although I like that. That's funny. That's funny. All right. So we have nobody interested in trading. So we're basically at the mercy of the board here. I like Kobe Turner. We're in the was it fourth round, third round. Michael Wilson's on the board. Tanner McKee is still on the board somehow. Luke Schoonmaker. I know we were talking about tight end earlier. I like him. What do you guys think about Luke Schoonmaker? Safeties. Let's take a look. I wonder if Jartavius is still on the board. I doubt it though, because Jartavius Martin, he's been flying up draft boards lately. The highest ranked safety is Anthony Johnson Jr., and I do not like him. I do not like him at all. See, I like Jair Brown from Penn State, but he'd be a little later. And Ronnie Hickman from Ohio State. I like those two guys. They seem more logical to me. Anthony Johnson Jr., like, he played for Iowa State, so the Big 12. Those are all passing schools, and coverage grade was not terrible. 74.9 is not bad. But if you look at all the teams he played against the good teams, was not impressive. Right? Texas Tech, 58, OSU, 64, OU, 58, Texas, 57. The the Jayhawks, 60, Baylor, 63, Ohio University, 54. Just not. I don't know. I'm not impressed by him. Schoonmaker would be a great pick here. I actually like this pick. Luke would be a solid pick. Yep. All right, I'm getting a lot of that. With Hamlin coming back and signing Rapp, we don't need safety yet right now. I agree. I would go like Ronnie Hillman later on in the draft. People, get weird about safeties. Like, why would you pick one so late? Like Micah Hyde was a 5th round pick, and Jordan Poyer was a 7th round pick. Like, it is what it is. And with Taylor Rapp on the roster, we'll be able to give him a good look to see if we want to sign him after this year to be able to continue his career here in Buffalo. And he's a starting quality safety, so you could re-sign him after this year. I saw a lot of Schoonmaker comments, so let's go ahead and draft the tight end out of Michigan, Luke Schoonmaker. Boom. And remember, we're not drafting for need. Brandon Beane wouldn't do that. Like, if there's a guy you like and he's within your range there, you take him. You also don't want to draft a whole bunch of what you don't need, though, too. I think that you want to draft within needs, or not necessarily needs, but you want to draft. You don't want to draft something you don't need. Like, if you have Tre'Davious White and Kyrie Elam, you don't necessarily want to draft a corner in the first round, right? It's not logical. You trade back. But if it was Jalen Ramsey on the freaking board, you'd absolutely take him, right? It's because that's just how it is. You take the talent. All right, so now we're at 104. Kobe Turner's still there. Moro Ojomo is an interesting one who I do like. His pass rush grade, 84.1. His run defense grade, 91.4. His true pass set rush, 79. I don't know what that means. Then if you look at his first look here, 6'3", 292. So again, another Ed Oliver replacement. He'd be a 3-4 defensive end, or in our case, he'd play 3 tech. So yeah, Jomo could be a difference maker in 2 gapping scheme while aligning head up over tackles. That's gaining more. Okay, so he's more of a 3-4 guy. It would be kind of a conversion for him. Ojomo's work in the run game is pure teaching tape. His hands and hips fire in unison into pads. I really like this kid. Uh, I think he would convert fine as a 3 tech. Ojomo's bigger than Ed. 290? That's big enough. 6'3", 290? That's a big guy. I mean, look back at Kyle Williams. He was what, 6'3", 205? Or 305? 305, not 205. Golly. Be a wide receiver at that point. I can almost guarantee you Beane will pick a cornerback at some point. I can almost guarantee you the same thing, yes. But I don't think he'd pick one early, is what I'm saying. So who we have on the board? We have at 104, the guy whose name is awfully close to Tre'Davious, Travius Hodges Tomlinson, is on the board. We are in round 3 or round 4. This would be a spot that Beane would take a corner. Also, Corey Trice out of Purdue. So Travius Tomlinson stacks up as a off-zone corner, and we play zone. We don't usually play, right over the. We don't press play. We usually don't press man in our scheme, right? We usually play off. Let me go ahead and copy his name real quick and see what his measurables were. Travius Hodges Tomlinson measurables ran a 4.41. His comparison is Duke Shelley, whoever that is. And he is 5'8", 178. Say Isaiah McGuire. Let me look and see who that is. So we have Trevius there. Hang on, Corey Trice. Let's take a look at him real quick. From Purdue. 6'3", 206. That's a big, lanky corner. Holy crap. Trice is built like a linebacker who got kicked out of cornerback. He beats up opposing receivers in press coverage, allowing. So he's kind of like Kaiir Elam. You are a better door than a window, bro. What are you guys thinking? 5'8" corner, no thanks. Hey, man. How big was Terrence McGee? 5'9". Is 5'8" really that terrible? Michael Roby Coleman, I think, was 5'7". He played pretty well. He would be a, what do you call it, a slot guy. Yeah, 5'8". Come on, guys, help me out. Help me out. We have the 2 corners right there at the top, so we know that he would go for a corner at this point in the draft. Also, Kobe Turner, defensive lineman. Michael Wilson, wide receiver from Stanford. I'm kind of on. Moro Ojomo, who I like. Isaiah McGuire from Missouri. Would be terrible. Also, Carl Brooks out of Bowling Green, who is a defensive end who I really do like. I really do like him quite a bit. Also, Dorian Williams from Tulane, still on the board, 6'1", 228. That'd be like another Milano type player. He's got good coverage feel, weak side linebacker, taking on blocks. We have 2 of those already in Milano and Terrell Bernard. So Carl Brooks is one that's interesting to me. Grades out, pass rush grade 92, run defense grade 90. You want to see those extra high numbers like that in, the MAC where he played? I believe that's an FCS school. Let's see, 6'4", 300 pounds. That's a big defensive end, Mario Williams style right there. So 300-pound. Hey, Mario Williams was like 295 pounds, right? Who cares? Can you rush the passer? That's what I want to know. Say Isaiah McGuire, defensive end. Let's see where he is real quick. Isaiah McGuire, right here. Let's check him out. So he was in the Big 12, right? Or no, SEC. SEC. Missouri moved to the SEC. So he was in SEC, and his grades: 82 for pass rush, 74 for run defense, true pass rush, 84.7. Let's see what his stats were. He had 7 sacks, 7 QB hits, 21 hurries. Where are his tackle numbers? And first look, he's 6'4", 268. McGuire is long, powerful defensive end who came on strong in his senior season. Uh, 6'4", 275. He's actually 268 as of the combine. Earned an 81.9 pass rushing grade. That's not what your numbers over here say. But Carl Brooks was good in film. I agree. I saw his film. I have not seen the film on McGuire. All right, so we're going with Carl Brooks from Bowling Green. Boop. Also, being 300 pounds, he might be able to kick inside and play 3 tech. Maybe. I don't know exactly how that works. But on some plays, obvious passing downs, you could have him rush from the inside. Wouldn't be terrible. Heading to pick 140. Let's see what we got. I think we're probably going to get a safety here, maybe a corner. This would be about the corner and safety spot. Defensive lineman Kobe Turner is still there from Wake Forest. Cornerback Jalen Jones from Texas A&M. 6'2", 200 pounds. He's good play strength. Jones is a difficult corner to separate from once he gets his hands on you. Outside cover 3 corner, which makes sense for us because we run quarters, which oftentimes is cover 2, cover 3. Playing deep. He can improve on his footwork. He's also a 5th-round pick at this point, both with a 3rd-round grade. So I like this right here. This would be a spot where Brandon Beane would take a corner. Also, City Sao, guard from Eastern Michigan. They have nothing for him but his stats. Run block grade 78, pass block grade 69, gap grade 82, zone grade 61. That's tough. Sacks allowed. He allowed 2. So Eastern Michigan, not a terrible pick in the 5th round. Let's see. Voorhees already off the season. Somebody mentioned Breeden Daniels from Utah. I do like the Utes. Run block grade 65.5. Pass block grade, which is really what we care about, to be honest, 78.7. Gap grades 47.9. Zone grade 72.5. Not as versatile, but 5th-round pick again. Can be taught with the improvements we've seen in his hand usage over the years. If that continues in the NFL, has a high potential. Okay. So I like Braden Daniels, tackle. And then another guy we'll look at is Oluwatimi and Scruggs. What are you guys thinking? Brooks, we already drafted him. Cornerback should be this pick. See, Jarrett Patterson, guard center. You talking about Jarrett Patterson from Notre Dame? I doubt he's on the board. Highly doubt he's on the board. Let me see. What in the world? Let's see. OT and interior O line. Voorhees, Daniels, Luatimi, Scruggs, Gaines, McFadden, Kincaid, Andrews. Yeah, he's there. He is. He's at 205. We can get him at 161 and be happy there. Yeah, I would wait for him. So he picked the cornerback we were just talking about. That's what I'm thinking. Thanks for the great pod, bro. Someday I will learn to spell. Hey, man, you're good, man. You know I love you, DF. All right, so Patterson would be my pick either at 205 or at 161. But to me, the obvious pick is the cornerback. He's got a 3rd-round grade. He's here in the 5th. He's 6'2" and 200 pounds. He plays our style of defense. Jalen Jones, welcome to the Bills. Let's see. Voorhees went off the board. Breeden. So Oluwatimi's still here, and number 205 was Jaret Patterson. So let's see. Ronnie Hickman's on the board. See what you guys think. Come on, now help me out. Another wide receiver, maybe. I like that. Could be a solid dime back. These different mock sites are so far apart. Patterson is 144 on one site, 123 on another site, and 205 on this site. Yeah, this is PFF. I also use the mock draft simulator or mock draft database. That's one I did earlier. They are very different. I like the mock draft database one, but the trades in that one are a little bit unrealistic. You know what I'm saying? So like if I want to have something that's more realistic when it comes to trading, then this one is the way to go. But yeah. Let's see. We do have some trade opportunities here. We can move back. So the Giants are at 172. We're at 161. That would make 205 more tolerable. The Houston Texans at 188. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 175. How far down the? He's pretty far down the board. So let's get to 175. We'll give you 161, but you're also going to have to give me like 179. Nope, 181. All right, so I'm going to trade from 161 to 175 and move up from 205 to 181. So I might be able to get him at 181. Trade. Resume draft. DTR QB. So I actually do like a quarterback late in this draft. ESPN Analytics has a mock draft page that's pretty legit and realistic. If you can send me a link, I'd be willing to do another mock draft. Bills Mafia prods. Kenny, I agree. This draft has linebacker 2-2 in fourth round. Oh, you're talking about To'o. You got to put the apostrophes in his name, man. He's Samoan. It's weird. All right. So now we're here again. And the two positions we're looking now, I believe, are interior offensive line and safety. So Ronnie Hickman's on the board. Jaret Patterson is gone. Someone took him. Freaking bastards. All right. Plan B. Bunch of safeties. Jake Andrews from Troy, offensive lineman. They have no information on him. See who else they have in here. Offensive line. Antonio Maffi. I have heard his name. Grades good. Run blocking. 6'4", 339. Antonio Maffi. Let's look at him real quick. Pro V. And Draft Network, Antonio Maffi, scouting report. Top reasons to buy in: power, size, anchor, physical temperament. Top reasons for concern: hand placement, lateral mobility. Height 6'2", weight 355. Golly. They don't say that on here. They say he's 339. Still close to freaking enough. Jesus. See, I like Marte Mapu. Told you typing, spelling. You didn't spell it wrong. You just didn't put the apostrophes in there. You called him Tutu. See, Kenny, I agree this draft has... Yep, okay. All right, so... Let's see, trading... I don't see Marte Mapu. Safety I like is Ronnie Hillman. First look, he's 6'2", 203. He's well-built safety, had himself a breakout 2022 campaign. I'm reading this verbatim. He allowed only 13 catches on 30 targets for 107 yards with a pick and 5 pass breakups. His coverage grade is 88.9 from Ohio State. Run defense 75.3, and he is graded. They don't have a grade on him. You guys are freaking helpful here, man. I'll look it up. Ronnie Hickman. So he didn't participate in the combine. They have him projected in round 6. Stays keyed on tight ends through play action. Crowds and collides to disrupt catch comfort underneath. Seeks to slap at the football using angles and length. Transitions smoothly from a back pedal as a high safety. Adequate job to fitting the run. Able to trigger the alley and collect wide flowing run. Okay, so he's good at run defense and underneath stuff. So he's basically a box safety. Hickman's a possibility. Okay. I like Hickman. We're talking about was a 6th-round pick right now? We're in round 5. Okay, so we're in round 5. I like Hickman. Daniel Scott. Let's see what he looks like. His grades aren't as good. They don't say anything about him. Plus, he's only 6'1", 208. Size is good. Trey Dean. This is disappointing. Trey Dean II. Let me pull his information up. Third, excuse me. Trey Dean III. He ran a 4.75, so he's not one of the faster guys. But he is quite strong. 25 bench press reps. 10-yard split was 1.6. He's a priority free agent, so he's looked at as a undrafted guy on NFL.com. Trey Dean. Okay. All right. So Ronnie Hillman. Rashad Torrance, second, still on the board. But he's ranked below Trey Dean. All right, let's go. Let's see everybody. We have Viliami Fehoko, edge rusher from San Diego State. He's got some good numbers here. Holy crap. Okay. This could be a value pick late in the 5th. 90.2 pass rush grade, 87.4 run defense grade. San Diego State or San Jose State, so not a big school guy. But I do believe that's the Pac-12 still. Not positive. Correct me if I'm wrong. True pass rush, 90.2. First look, Fehoko is a power player with inside-outside versatility. He was near unblockable this past fall, posting 66 pressures and a 90.9 overall grade. He is 6'4", 276 pounds. He's a junior, so he didn't play at the Senior Bowl. He's 23 years old. Look up Mapu. Okay. Mapu. He was already taken at 139 by the Broncos, so a whole round ago. So, yep, Mapu's off the board. Sorry. Looks like you were correct to want him because somebody else did. So the edge rusher looks good. We have a QB from UCLA, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Passing grade 68.6, intermediate grade 76.1, deep grade 66.5, no pressure 77.5, pressure grade 49. That explains why you're in the 5th round. DTR is experienced enough to feel confident that he's capable of backup with development potential. Not bad spot for a backup quarterback. Better than Jake Fromm, I think. Jalen Marino Cropper. 5'11", 172. Marino Cropper is one of the craftier route runners in this draft. He just doesn't quite have the size to feel good about how he'll translate in the NFL. So smaller guy. Gerard Clark from Coastal Carolina. This could be interesting. His numbers look solid. 77 pass rush grade, 74.9 defensive grade, and true pass rush grade 82.2. They don't have anything to say about him, but he is 6'4" and 334. That is a big freaking dude. That is a big freaking dude. So Clark is a guy who I'm liking right now. Let's see. Stetson Bennett's out there, but no thank you, Mr. Drunk Driving. Mekhi Blackman. Look, we can get a former New York Jet here. Bryce Ford Wheaton from West Virginia. 6'4", 221 pounds of wide receiver. Take a flyer on that guy. Let's see what he's about. Bryce Ford Wheaton, combine numbers. Let's see what you did at the combine, big man. Ran a 4.38. Holy what the hell? At 6'4", 221, ran a 4.38. His production score is crap. With a 1.54 split, at this point, we're just drafting for talent. There's a 4th-round grade on him. Whoa, this guy right here. Guy ran a 4.38 at 6'4", 220 pounds. It's almost impossible to pass up on this guy. Let's see what they say about his stuff. I'm reading the NFL.com one because the PFF one doesn't have anything. I'm going to keep his name here. That way I can just draft him if need be, because it looks like this is going to be the guy. Ford Wheaton followed his grandfather, Garrett Ford Sr., and uncle Garrett Ford Jr. to West Virginia. I don't care about all that. Strengths: big frame with big wingspan. Good physically at the top of the route. Uses frame to shield and catch through contact. Uses hand fighting to free himself for late separation. Jump ball specialist with strong hands and focus. Length to reach high outside the frame and bring it in. Weaknesses: had just one 100-yard game. I don't give a damn. He's a 5th-round pick. Lacks the functional foot quickness to slip past a press coverage unscathed. Okay, he's a big guy. He's real fast. Fails to gain much separation at the stem. Rounded routes allows corners to undercut throws. Well, you're going to be high pointing him anyway, so why the hell would that matter? His route tree has very few limbs on it. Okay. Teach him. Teach him. Yeah, that's the guy. That is the freaking guy right there. Draft. That was a no-brainer for me. And our last pick, 181 overall. Now I take the safety, Ronnie Hickman. And that concludes this mock draft. Exactly. It's like Isaiah Hodgins, but fast. Like that's what that is. 6'4", 41-inch vertical, 4'3". That's a physical freak is what that is. That's a physical freak. Wow. I didn't think I was going to be that happy with that spot right there. But wow. Just digging through players and finding people. Jesus Christ. He ran a 4.38, 41-inch vertical, 10.9 broad jump, 6.97 in 3-cone, and 4.15 20-yard shuttle. That screams DK Metcalf to me. Oh, snap. He's from Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina. No kidding. That's like right up the road from me. It's like 45 minutes from here. Wow. Just found Megatron. Dude, why is no one talking about this guy? I mean, I get that he only had, one 100 receiving yard game. Who cares? He played at West Virginia. I don't even know who their quarterback was. You out of your mind? Let's see what our grade for this draft was. Overall, B+. I would agree with that. Copy image. And I will put this on our Twitter once I'm done here. All right, guys. I would do another mock, but it's already been almost 2 hours. And I think this one actually turned out pretty good. So, guys, I appreciate you. Remember, on Friday, for the second round of the draft during the Buffalo Bills draft show, Stevie Johnson will be on with Peter DiBiase and with Lance for our show. Okay, so Peter and Lance will have Stevie Johnson on for the second round draft breakdowns. I'm hopefully going to be on too if I'm welcome. If not, it's cool because you got Stevie, so priorities and stuff. But I'm at least going to pop in there and say hello to Stevie. It's going to happen. But yeah, Friday, Stevie Johnson will be on the Built in Buffalo Network's draft show. Guys, I am your host, Izzy. Love you guys. Last few comments. Great draft, Izzy. Because he one trick pony. He's he's fast and big, but that is not a good wide receiver. Train him. He's a this is a sixth round pick we just picked up. For a sixth round pick, that's a guy that you have to develop. He's not going to be expected to start. He might not even be expected to make the roster. He might be a guy that they put on the practice squad. Like this is sixth round. Do we want a bunch of picks that could be talented, or do we just want to grab the best talent? It's a mixture of both because we still have a roster to fill out and not a lot of money. And I know only the top 51 count to a certain point, but you want to get guys who have the potential to actually make your roster as well. And so you don't want to just get big bodies like this guy here who I just drafted in the sixth round. I mean, yeah, he's a one trick pony. He's got one thing. He can run fast and he can high point the ball. So that's two tricks really. But in the end, what is your job as an NFL coach? To teach people. And I think that would be a ball of clay that they can teach. And I think that'd be good to have, especially in the sixth round. Again, that's what almost all these sixth round picks were. Great show, bro. Thank you, sir. You guys have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the draft. I will be posting. You guys take care of yourselves.